friends, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to 12 days of Gabbacado Christmas. I'm actually really sad that this is the last time I'm going to be saying that. I've got my kombucha, classic Gabby. Since this is my last Gabbacado Christmas video, I went all out. We're sitting in front of the Christmas tree. I've got my Christmas sweater on, I've got my Christmas socks on, and we're wrapping gifts today. So basically, Christmas is in, what's today? When I'm filming this, Christmas is in 4 days. I have not wrapped any of my gifts. So that's what we're doing now. So I wanted to have another little chat with you guys today. First thing I wanted to touch on is binging. And specifically binging in recovery. I have had so many people, especially since the holidays, I've had so many of you guys reaching out to me, asking about binging in recovery and how long it's gonna last and how to cope with it and how to not fall back into restrictive patterns because of it. And so I really wanted to touch on this one because I feel like it's something that so many people go through and it's not talked about enough. So first off, I'm gonna touch on why it's probably happening. So the why behind your binges, because I know that sometimes that can bring some comfort. The binging in recovery from an eating disorder typically happens because your brain was in survival mode. I feel like all eating disorders have some sort of restrictive component to them. It's just restriction is can take so many different forms. So our brain and bodies don't know the difference between us restricting them and a famine. So basically, when you go through an eating disorder and you have this physical or mental restriction going on, your body thinks that there's a famine going on and it thinks that it's not gonna have food and that you're gonna go starving and all of that. So once you finally start recovery and allow yourself to eat these foods again that you didn't allow yourself to eat before, or you allow yourself to eat a normal amount of food that you didn't allow yourself to eat before, your body is like, oh my gosh, I've got to eat all of this now just in case we go into a famine again. So it's just like, let's eat everything now so we can protect ourselves from the next famine. It's actually quite a cool thing if you think about it. Our bodies are so incredibly smart. We cannot outsmart our bodies with restrictions. At some point, they're gonna fight back. Say hi to Freddie. There can be different components to binging as well that don't involve restriction. It could be response to trauma or other mental disorders as well. So this isn't the only thing that could be going on. But in most cases, when you're recovering from an eating disorder, you start experiencing binges. This is what's going on. It's just your body trying to protect you and trying to stay safe. That's all it is. And when you kind of reframe those thoughts, instead of thinking like, oh my gosh, why is my body doing this to me? Why am I doing this? Instead of beating yourself up for the binges, try to take a different perspective and try to thank your body for trying to protect you, because at the end of the day, that's all it's doing. And I know that's way easier said than done. I know it's not easy to thank your body for binges, but if you can find it in you to switch that mindset, I promise it's so incredibly helpful. Next thing I want to touch on is how to heal from it. So I know anyone who's experienced binging does not want it to last forever. I know, I've been there. The best way to heal from the binging is to honor the binging. And I know that's not what you want to hear. I know it's so incredibly hard to do that, but it's the only way you're going to truly heal. If you try to combat the binging with restricting, you're going to fall in the binge restrict cycle, which is not what you want. I can promise you that. I've been there. It's miserable. So you have to honor the binges and you have to continue to honor them until they stop, because they will stop eventually. And I know it can feel like it's never ending. And I know it can make you feel so helpless because you're like, it just seems so out of your control. Binging does. I know what it feels like. Trust me. I've been there, but the only way to truly heal from these binges is to allow them to happen and to not beat yourself up from them and meet yourself where you're at and find compassion for yourself. So the biggest tip I can give you is to honor those binges. Along with that, you have to make sure you're eating consistently throughout the day. So if you are having like nightly binges, let's just say, and then so you have a binge at night, you wake up the next morning and you're like, okay, I'm not going to eat the whole day because I binged last night, or I'm not going to eat breakfast because I binged last night, and then you're going to get in that binge restrict cycle, which is not where you want to be. That's not how you're going to heal from the binges. So what you need to do, if you have a binge at night, you need to wake up and eat breakfast, even if you're not hungry. I know it can be hard to eat when you're not hungry, but it's the only way your body's going to feel safe and nourished, and you're going to have less of a chance of binging the more you do that. And the more you consistently nourish your body, the sooner those binges are going to fade away. Allow yourself unconditional permission to eat. So much of it is mental too. Like if you have this mindset where you're just beating yourself up for the binges and you just feel so frustrated with them, and you know, you just have this negative connotation with binging, that is going to make it worse. It's going to spiral you deeper. Self-compassion, having compassion for yourself, that is the best thing you can do. I also want to mention something that helps me in my recovery. I stopped putting labels on things. So I didn't put labels on if I binged or if I overate, because that was just too much for me to think about. It was too overwhelming. And I feel like there's so much guilt and shame associated with the word binge. There really is. There's so much guilt, there's so much shame, there's so much negativity attached to that word. And so if you keep telling yourself, like, I'm binging, was that a binge? Am I gonna binge later? When you keep using that word, you're just filling your mind with negativity and with shame, with guilt, and with anxiety and stress. And that's going to potentially lead to more binging, to more feeling like you're not in tune with your body. I highly recommend you just release those labels and replace it with my body's just healing. That's what I did on my journey. And that was like the biggest help for me. I just released that label and I was just like, my body's healing. That's all that is. I am going to honor this because my body's healing. I'm going to eat however much my body's asking for right now because my body's healing. So instead of saying I had a binge, say I honored my body while it's healing. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe I ate so much, I can't believe I had this binge, say I'm so proud of myself for honoring my body because that's what it needed to heal right now. It's all about the way we talk to ourselves. So much of recovery comes down to your mindset and how you treat yourself, how you talk to yourself. You're not going to grow in recovery from shame and from guilt. That's not going to lead you to recovery. What is going to lead you to recovery is self-compassion and letting go of self-judgment. Like, that's what's going to lead you to recovery and to growth. It's all about the way you talk to yourself. You have to talk to yourself how you would talk to a friend. What would you tell your friend if they were in your shoes? If they were coming to you because they were binging and they were healing from an eating disorder, what would you tell them? Another thing that's very important when you are struggling with binging is to look past the food and make sure that all of these other areas of your life are in balance. So my school, I studied at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and they taught this concept called primary and secondary food, which I absolutely love, and I always come back to it. It just kind of changed my whole view on health, honestly. So basically the idea behind it is that the food you eat is secondary to your quality of life. So primary food is everything that nourishes you off of the plate. Your relationships, your self-care, your spirituality, all of these things that nourish you off of the plate, that's your primary food. The secondary food is the food that you eat. So the idea behind it is that if you're struggling with your secondary food in the food that you eat. If you're struggling with your relationship with it, or if you're struggling with it in any way, if you're binging, if you have an eating disorder, if you have a disordered relationship with food, there's most likely something out of balance in your primary food. And so instead of taking it out on the food that you're eating and taking it out on yourself for eating this food, you just try to be curious about it. Be curious, not judgmental. Try to be curious about, okay, what's out of balance in my life here? You know, do I need to nurture my relationships more? Do I need to take more time for myself to fill up my cup? Do I need to rest more? Do I need to dive deeper into my career? Do I need to take more time to fill up my soul and my spirit? Just be curious about these other areas of your life. Zoom out a bit and try to look at the bigger picture of life, and try to look at these other areas that have nothing to do. Forget about the binging. Just forget about it. And take a look at these other areas of your life that are so incredibly important. If you want to feel holistically healthy and in balance, you have to look beyond the food. So if you're struggling with binging, I highly suggest that you take a look at these other areas of your life. Are you caring for yourself? Are you doing things every day that are going to fill up your soul and bring you peace and are going to ground you? Because if you're not, that could lead to binging as well. And it's so important in recovery, especially, to do lots of these things that are going to fill up your soul and bring you peace, because it's already such a struggle being in recovery. It feels like you're losing a part of you, and there are so many triggers, and you feel like you're just out of control of your life. So you need to take this time and these moments to care for yourself and do things that bring you back to you, connect you to you, bring you peace, and make you feel grounded. I hope all of that made sense. I've just been getting so many questions about binging recently, and my heart goes out to all of you that are struggling with binging, because I've been there. I know what it feels like. But I know there's freedom from it as well. So just take it one step at a time. One step at a time. Don't get overwhelmed by the big picture. And the best thing you can do is be compassionate with yourself on this journey. It's not going to be linear. So just stop beating yourself up and just meet yourself where you're at. Be compassionate with yourself. Treat yourself how you would treat a friend. Talk to yourself how you would talk to a loved one. Don't beat yourself up for binging. Your body is on your side. It's just trying to protect you. That's all this is. It's just your body trying to protect you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your body. It's not against you. You're not at war with it. It's just trying to protect you. And that's it. I also just wanted to do a little reflection on 2020 and talk about some things that I've learned in this video. So I always get super reflective around this time of year, like around the holidays, around Christmas, and then of course New Year's. I just get super like reflective, and I just take a look back and I'm like, oh, a year ago I was here, 2 years ago I was here, 3 I was here, 4 I was there. Like, man, like I feel like just a new person each Christmas. Like I just feel like a new person. That's how much growth I feel like I've gone through in these past like 5 years. I felt like a different person. Like I joke all the time. I'm like talking with my friends. I'm like, oh yeah, that was like 20 Gabbies ago. I just feel like I've gone through so many different shifts and changes and just growth, seasons of growth in my life. It's a little crazy. A couple things I'm taking away from this year that I think are going to be helpful for you guys. The first one is that recovered doesn't mean perfect. I think I thought coming into my recovery journey that when I was recovered, everything was just going to be sunshine and rainbows, and I was not going to struggle again. There'd be this end to therapy, like an end to all my struggles. Everything would be great. And although I can't even put into words how beautiful it is being recovered and how surreal it feels and how just amazing it is, life isn't perfect. And I know I'm not the only one that kind of goes into recovery with like this idea that I'm going to come out on the other side and be like, have no problems. Also that there's no clear finish line from in recovery to recovered. there's no clear finish line. I kind of was expecting that as well. I love clear lines, like yes, no, do this, don't do this, recovered, in recovery. I love clear lines. But unfortunately, that's not life. There's a lot of gray. Life is not black and white. There are a lot of gray areas. And I found that when I was kind of transitioning from in recovery to recovered, there were so many like blurred lines, and I was so overwhelmed. I mentioned this in my very first like recovery update video, where I just kind of hit this place this year where I was like overthinking every little thing that I did. I still had that recovery mindset that was so beneficial to me that I needed in my recovery, the mindset of like, okay, is this disordered or is this healthy? Is this my eating disorder voice? Is this my healthy voice? I still had all that questioning going on when I was recovered. And I was just stuck in this place of like questioning every little thing that I did, which made my life so incredibly overwhelming, and it kept me stuck in recovery. It kept me stuck in this place that I didn't need to be in anymore. And I finally had to let go and trust myself and trust my healthy self and trust all of the work that I put in and trust myself to take it from here. Like this mindset, this recovery oriented mindset where I'm questioning those thoughts, that served me so much. It got me where I am today, but I don't need that anymore. And so that's something I learned this year, that there's no clear finish line from recovering to recovered. With that being said, 2021 has been the year that I recovered from my eating disorder. It's been the year that I can finally say at the end of this year, my eating disorder is not a part of me anymore at all whatsoever. My body is in balance. I have such a balanced, peaceful relationship with food. My eating disorder feels like such a thing of the past. I don't associate with that voice at all anymore, at all. And I feel so incredibly grateful for that. Like, I just can't put into words how grateful I feel to be where I am today. So 2020 has been a beautiful, 2021 has been a beautiful year for so many reasons, but one of the biggest ones is that I can officially say I've recovered from my eating disorder, and that feels pretty freaking cool. So I'm proud of that, and I have a hard time being proud of myself. I do, and especially like saying it out loud, but I'm proud of myself. So, and you should be proud of you too, even if you're not recovered from your eating disorder yet, even if you're still in the midst of a big struggle in life, you still have so much to be proud of. And it's so important to find those, even if they're little, even if they seem little, you should still be proud of yourself. If you're here right now watching this video, you have so much to be proud of yourself for. So I'm starting out 2022 going on an adventure for myself. I spent years as a fashion model traveling the world, but all of it was very like my agents just saying, you're going here, you're going here, you're going here, me feeling like I had to go to please them. And of course I wouldn't take back those trips for the world because I learned and grew so much, but I never felt like I was doing it for me. I felt like I was just doing it to please other people. And I am spending the month of January in California, in LA. I am driving there the first day of the year, January 1st. I'm taking a road trip with my mom to LA to spend the month there, and I'm doing this for me. I'm going because I want to go. And I want to do a whole video on this about all the emotions that is bringing up, because it's bringing up a lot of emotions, and I really feel like it's important to share that with you guys. But I'm so excited to be doing this for me, and I think I'm gonna learn and grow so much from this trip, because even though it's 1 month and it's gonna be short, it's gonna be a month where I'm focusing on me and my business and doing what I want to do. For the first time in my life, I'm gonna have my own space to just build my business into what I want and spend more time on YouTube, spend more time on my social media, spend more time doing what I want without my part-time job, without all of the distractions that I kind of have here. I'm just gonna have this time to just fully focus on me and my business and just growing and learning. And I think it's going to be big for me because I am, for the first time, stepping out on my own since recovering from my eating disorder. I've never lived on my own free from my eating disorder, so I think that's gonna be such a big thing for me to experience life on my own without my eating disorder. And I'm gonna do a whole video talking about all of this, and I'm excited to take you guys along with me. Definitely expect more videos on here as I go on my little LA adventure. I am so excited to take you guys with me. I'm really sad that this is my last video. I only got 2 gifts done because I'm not good at multitasking while I'm filming. But this is the end of a Gabbacado Christmas. I don't think this is the end because I'm planning to vlog on Christmas morning because it's my absolute favorite morning. Like, I love Christmas morning. It's my favorite. So I want to take you guys along with me. So this is not the last video. Surprise! This is not the last video. It's not 12 days of a Gabbacado Christmas. It's going to be 13 days. There will be an extra little bonus video, a little Christmas morning vlog. So that's going to be fun. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this little series. If you've watched the whole thing, if you've just watched a couple of videos, whatever, if you're here, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for the love and support. I hope this video was helpful. It was kind of just a random little video, but I really wanted to touch on the topic of binging because I've had so many people reach out to me asking about it recently, so I really wanted to touch on that. But I hope you guys have a beautiful, beautiful Christmas. It's Christmas Eve when I'm posting this, so I hope you're having a beautiful Christmas Eve. I hope you're finding some peace. I hope you're feeling grounded. Go do something to fill up your soul. Make sure you're taking time to stay present and to stay grounded and to find peace. I love you guys so, so much, and I hope you have a beautiful, 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 beautiful Christmas. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Cheers! Merry Christmas!